Hi guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be creating this layout here, which I actually mimicked from this website I stumbled across from awards.com. So cutthecode.com. It's a really nice layout they've used. So we have, you can see this hero section, and they have this div which is kind of utilising these inverted border curvy radiuses. And they've done the same concept with this main image element as well. You can see they're using this kind of, it's an SVG image they're using, and they're using a clip path to create these curvy inverted borders. So here's my version. You can see it's fairly similar. Again, we're using the SVG clip path to create these curves, and then we also implement this infinite carousel down here, all using HTML and CSS. There's no JavaScript used in this tutorial. But yeah, I just think I really like this kind of curvy border effect. It looks really nice. So yeah, hope you enjoy, guys, and let's get going. Thanks. Okay guys, so to get started, you can see I've just got a new project up and running in VS Code. So we have index.html, a style.css, and we have an app.js file, although we're not actually going to be using that in this project, so don't worry about that too much. It's just a HTML and CSS project. And you can see I have an assets folder here, and then I just have two fonts which I've actually sourced directly from this website that we're going to be mimicking, so this hero section here. To get the fonts, you can just go to inspect and go to network, and then if you refresh, you can see underneath the font section you get all the fonts kind of used in the website. I would say though, you obviously need to kind of purchase these fonts. They will be licensed, so if you just go and use these in a live production website, then yeah, there could be, it's not allowed, I don't think. So I'll check on that, make sure you purchase the licenses, make sure these are likely not free fonts, so just go and check that. So let's just move on now to the index.html. So if we come in here first, I'm just going to emit some boilerplate code here. And then I'm just going to link to our style.css in the header. So let's just do that now. So we just say link, and then we can say style.css. And then we're going to come into the body next. So we're just going to next say we want a main element. So this is just going to basically house all of our web page content. And then we want a div in here with a class of container. Again, we're just going to use this container to basically lay out or apply limits to the width of our content, just so it doesn't go too wide across large screens. And we're also going to be using grid just to lay it out nicely in a kind of grid format. And then coming in here, the first thing we want to do is just get our nav container. So our first nav bar section, you can see up here. And let's just create that now. So we'll just say .nav _container. Then in here, we'll just have a nav element. That's going to contain an ungrid list, so a UL, and then we can just say li. That's going to feature an anchor tag for a link. And then here we can just say the first link will be services. And let's just going to copy this down 4 times. We'll have 5 links in our nav bar. We just say code for the next link. And then we can say under here, so you got projects, about us, and contact. So we just copy those projects. About us, and contacts. Contact. Okay, so that's it for our nav. If we just open this in live server just so we can see our changes as we go. Okay, and there's our nav bar. Cool. So now, kind of underneath this, we want to just create a div of a class of hero text next. So this is just going to be the kind of text that we see here. So we have this kind of subheading, main heading, and then this kind of summary or intro text section. So let's come out of the nav container div, and here let's just say another div with hero _text. Okay, and then here we can say sub header like so, and then we can just I want to have, you can see here it's got like kind of the developers use like a circle, so we can just say here circle, and then underneath that we're just going to just copy this text. So I'll just say copy that, and then we'll say, I don't know, we'll go for a H4 here. Copy that in, and let's just bring that H4 to close the gap. And I'm just obviously just going to change this to code because obviously we prefer coding. Okay, so next, come out of this, that's it for our kind of pre-header. Let's just go for our actual hero header now underneath this. I'll just say H1, and again, I'll just copy this text here. We enable rapid growth through digital creation. Okay, so there you go, there it is on the screen. And then finally, let's just get that hero, well, this summary text as well. We'll copy that over. And then we can just say P. Again, you can just use lorem text here, but I just want to kind of mimic this website as much as possible. So that's it. I'm not going to bother with these. It's not that important for this, really. I just wanted, let's just move on to the image now, I guess. So let's come out of this hero text section. And the next thing we want to do is actually just grab this image. So we're just going to say image container. So let's do that now. Come out of here. And we'll just say dot image _ container, like so. And then now for this image, we're actually going to be using an SVG element. Okay, so we're not going to be using an actual image because you can see here what the developer's done is they've got this really nice effect going on with the image where it's got this inverted kind of border. And if you click on this, I actually studied how he did this, and he's using like an SVG to achieve this. Sorry, I'm saying he or she. And then, you know, you have this clip path we can see here. So this is what we're going to be doing, and so I studied how to kind of apply this SVG shape, and we're just going to be looking at how to do that in a second. This looks quite confusing for now, but I'll show you my simple approach I come up with to achieve this effect. So let's just create an SVG element here. Say SVG. Okay, and then here we're just going to add some attributes to this SVG. So we can say we want to give it a width of 100%, and then also we'll give it a height of 100% as well. And let's just take that out. Okay, and then I'll close this down. Next we want to do is we'll just give this a view box, okay? And basically what a view box is, so this will basically just make the image pan out to 100% of the width of the container, so the parent container here, and the 100% of the height. And now we're applying a view box, which is going to be the coordinates for our kind of path that we're going to create, or this border. Now we're going to use the following kind of coordinates. So 0, 0, this is where the coordinates begin. So the top left is 0, 0, so this point of the image. And then we're also, so where we're going to, we go for the width, we'll say 100%. And then for the height, we're just going to say 40. Now the reason we're doing this is because our image is going to be, so 100% across, and the height of the image is going to be 40% of that width. So that's why we're using the word number 40 here. Okay, if we did 100 and 100, the proportions would be the same, and we'd get like a square. That's why we're using this kind of 140. So you'll see how this works shortly. Now, the next thing I want to do here is let's just actually get an image in. So within this SVG, we can just say image, like so. And then here we can just say, again, we'll use the width attribute, we'll say 100%, and then we also want to say here, let's just go, I think we'll say a height of 100% as well. Yep, height 100%. And then to get the actual link of the image, what I'm going to do, you can see here, if we look for these SVGs, this is the attribute you need to reference the source of the image. So they're using an X-link href. So if I just open this up, I'm going to do the same. So we'll just say, we'll come in here and I'm just going to say xlink href, that's going to equal, and then we can just place that image in. And now you can see there's our image that's appeared. Okay, you can do this with any image, just paste it in that href section there. Okay, so now that we've done that, the next thing I want to do here is, we'll come to the path later actually, let's just finish the HTML first. We're just going to add a clip path as well. So I'm just going to come in here to the image and just say clip path. And here we can just say, want this to reference a URL, and we're going to target ID and we'll just say border. And then what we can do, we're going to create this border above. So I'm just going to say above this image, we'll come above this image and I'm just going to say, we'll do a clip path like so. And then I'm going to give this the ID of border, and that's what this clip path is referencing. And then within here, we're just going to have a path element. And then we'll just say ID main double underscore image double underscore path. And then here within this path, we can just have a D attribute, or we'll give it a D attribute as well. So we'll just say D like so. And this is where we're going to map out the coordinates for our path. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that shortly. That's basically it, I believe, for the kind of hero section. Let's just come underneath this now. There's still a few bits I want to do, like get this carousel implemented as well as this kind of rounded border here. Okay, so if we come out of our SVG, come out from under the div, and now let's just have, let's just see, so that's our image container. Yeah, that's our main, what's this one I'm referencing? This is the container. So now let's come out of our image container and now let's have the div of a class of carousel. Okay, so let's do that now. Dot carousel. And then in here, I just want to have a div of a class of left double underscore carousel. And then we'll have a div of a class of right carousel. And what these left and right carousels are going to be doing is we're basically just going to create a new effect where it looks like it's fading out on the left and right. The developer doesn't do it here, but it's just something I want to implement just for our own version. So just say right carousel here. And then we're going to have a div within this carousel div called carousel double underscore inner, like so. And then in here, we're just going to have, what I've done, let's just, I have actually saved all of these images. So let me just copy these over. Copy. If I go into my assets, let's just paste that in. So you can see now I have an images folder in here, and this just contains, or what I've done is just save these elements here. So if we highlight these in VS Code, you can see that these are actually, well, some of them are SVGs. I think, yeah, let's have a look. Is this one an SVG? Yeah, these are, if we go to like the links, you can see they're actually SVG files. So what I've done is I've just saved them into this folder. So you can open them up here and just kind of save these images into your folder, which is what I've done. So these are SVG files, some of them are PNGs, and you can just store them here. So that's what they save as. One of them is a PNG, which is this skybox one, but the rest of are the SVG files here. So that's what we're going to be using for this carousel. So what I'm going to do now in our carousel inner is we're just going to have a div of a class of item, like so, and then we can just say image, and then I'm just going to say source, source is going to be // go into our assets, go into our images, and then 1, like so. And now you can see that's appeared down the bottom there. So let's just copy this down, change that to 2. Okay, that's quite big, that one, so let's just keep going. Okay, so 3 is an SVG, so we'll just say 3 here. And then we'll just say 4, and that's a PNG file. And then we'll say 5.svg, and then we can say 6. Sorry, my Siri going off again. Okay, so yeah, there's our PNG files and SVG logos. So now that we've done that, I'm actually just going to copy these down again as well. So we're going to copy these 6 because we're going to have like kind of an infinite scrolling marquee. So if you just copy all those down, and then we'll just have 2 of each logo, like so. And then what we want to do next is I'm just going to come out of this. So we want to come out of our carousel. So come here, and then we want another div with a class of bottom div. Bottom div, and then in here we're just going to have a div of a class of left, like so. And what this is doing, this bottom div, if we look at our website, we can see here we have this kind of bottom segment here where we've got this kind of curved area here, and then it's like inverted here. So the bottom left segment is this section here, which is cut out, and the bottom right section will be this kind of curve that we see, which is joined to the main container. So now we're just going to say within our left div, we'll have a div of a class of curve. And what this curve is going to do is just be this curve section here. Okay, we can't create this with a border radius, so we have to just create a curve section like so. And then we'll also just have a cover section. And then coming out of the left div, we'll have a div of a class of right. And then here we can just say we'll have a div of a class of, I don't know, services or something like that. I'm just adding some extra section here, and I'll just say services. And I think that's pretty much it. We can just add one more section after. Yes, let's just do that now. So what I should have done actually is if we have, let's just do a section here and kind of wrap all of this. I think that would be better. So let's just do that now. Actually, let's highlight all of this. I'm just going to highlight from that div upwards before the section. Just tab that. Just that section is running around, and I'm just going to give this section an ID of hero, like so. Okay, so it's obviously looking really ugly at the moment. We still need to do CSS and do our path as well, which we're going to come back to shortly. But I think that's pretty much it for now. So let's just do one final section. Actually, I'm just going to come under here. We'll do a section, and I'm just going to say, give this a class of about. There won't be too much in here. About, and then we can just say about _container. In the container, we'll have about text. And then in here, let's just copy what this text here. Okay, now that is it for HTML. So let's move on to our CSS now. Let's just tie this up a bit, make it look a bit nicer. So if we come here, now the first thing, let's just close these folders down. within our style.css is I want to just import those fonts. So we just say at font face. Now the first font was Telegraph, and then the URL here is assets, fonts, and we'll go to that Telegraph. Remember to specify the format in your CSS, so we'll just say WAF2. And then we'll do the same thing for the Hafer fonts, so say font face. And then here we'll just say Hafer, and then / assets, fonts, Hafer, and then again we'll specify that format. Okay, so that's it for our fonts. And the next thing I want to do here is just specify some CSS variables. So we'll just say root, and here we can just specify some variables we're going to be using throughout the web page. So the main background color here, that should be BG color. It's going to be 2222. Like so, so it's like a dark grey, and then we'll just say main div color, that's going to be 131313, like so. And then we can say here we'll specify a width we're going to use throughout, so width for our container elements, that will be 95%, and then we can specify a max width as well, and that will be 1600 pixels. So that will be the max width that our kind of content containers will spread out to before they stop growing. And then we'll just have a general border radius here, border radius, and that will just be 20 pixels. So that's it for our root variables. So now let's just come down to specify some global settings now in our CSS. So I'll just say margin 0, padding 0, and box size in border box. That just gets rid of all the default margins and paddings you can see. And then underneath this we're just going to say font family, and I'm going to use that Telegraph font throughout, like so, Telegraph, and you can see that's changed the font up here. And then we're going to use a fallback as well. We'll just say sans serif, just in case some browsers can't load this font. And then the next thing we want to do here is just say color. We'll just make it white for now, the font. And then underneath this, we're going to specify a font weight of 400. Actually, let's just comment that out for now, just so we can see what we're working with. And then we'll just do some letter spacing as well. So letter spacing minus 0.5 m, like so, just to bring the words close together. Just make it 3 for now. Okay, and then what I also want to add here is something called WebKit, and we're just going to say font smoothing, like so. And what we can say here is anti-aliased. Now it's a very subtle effect, this, but what it does, it just smooths out any kind of fonts. It it makes them appear less pixelated and smoother. It's very subtle, but I do find it makes kind of a big difference. It makes your text appear better, especially on the kind of older screens. Not so much the latest Retina display screens we have, but in some like older cases like LCD screens, it makes the text look a lot better. So I always kind of use this now. And then we can see we just remove text decoration, and that will just remove that kind of link text decoration. Don't want that. List style, none as well. That will remove any bullet points from our lists. And then we'll just specify a line height, general of 110% for our text. Okay, so that's it for our global settings. Now the next thing we want to do here is come to our HTML and body. So let's do that now. Just say HTML, and we'll do body as well. And we'll just give these a width of 100%, say a height of 100%, and then we'll also just say a background color, and we'll just we'll use that CSS variable of main background color as we said above. And now I can just bring that text to be white. Okay, so next thing we want to do here is we want to specify, let's just grab that H1 and we'll just say font size. I'll give this 7 pw just to make that text look a bit larger, like so. We could cap it actually because it does get a bit big at some point, but we'll just leave it there for now. Next thing I want to do here is grab our main element, so we'll just say main, and here we're just going to say display flex, like so. We're going to say flex direction, because what that's done is that's now made all of the content go to the side. So let's just do a flex direction of column here, and then we can just say align items to the center. Okay, and then the next thing we want to do here is we'll just say we'll just give it a general padding of 2 rem to the top and bottom, and then we'll just say 0. Okay, now what we don't want to do after this is let's just grab our hero section, and here again we're going to specify the width to be 100%, and then also if I just bring this over here like so, we'll say again display flex, and again we're just going to say a width. Now we do flex direction column again, and then we'll just say align items this time to the center, and then we also just want to say a margin bottom of 5 rem. Okay, so now let's target the actual container element within our hero div, okay, or our hero. Yeah, so we had like the the hero here, the hero section, and now we want to target this container. So let's do that now. We'll just say dot container, and then I'll just say position relative. We're going to give this a width, and we're just going to use that variable, so var width, like so, not x. Okay, and then the next thing we want to do here is we're just going to say a max width of var max width, and this will just stop that kind of hero div growing. Once it gets to, you can see it stops growing at a certain point and starts moving to the center of the screen. I'm also just going to say actually let's clamp that text size, so we can say here for H1 we'll just say this clamp, and we'll just say, I don't know, 2 rem, and then we'll just say I don't know, 40 pixels. No, that's too small. Let's just go, I don't know, 6 rem. So it stops growing at a certain point, so we'll leave it there for now. That's fine. Okay, so now next thing I want to do here is, sorry, I should mention, yeah, that clamp. This is the left number is the smallest the text can be. The middle number is the size of the text when it's in between the largest and the smallest and the largest value. So if the text, well, if 7 viewport widths is more than 2 rem and less than 6 rem, it will grow in between those numbers. That's what that clamp function's doing. So in our container, what we also want to say here is I want to give this a background color. Okay, so say background color, and I'm just going to say var, and we'll just say main div color, and that's just giving us that nice kind of darker background. You can see sort of mimicking this background here. And Next thing I want to do here, so we've got our background. I want to give you some padding next, so let's just say padding. Give this a 2 rem padding. And that just gives us some white space on each side. And then I want to specify a border top left radius, and here we can just say var border radius, and you can see that's just curved the top left radius here. Do the same thing for the right, so just change left to right here. And that's curved the right border as well. And finally, we want to just do the border bottom left radius as well to be the same. So we can just copy this down, and here we'll just change top to bottom. And that should be left. Cool, and there's our curved border there. Okay, so that's it for our container. Now let's just target this nav container for now. So we'll just go up here, we'll just say .nav container, like so. And here we'll give this a width of 100%. We'll just say display flex. And then we can say also justify content flex end. And what that does, that's just moved our kind of nav bar over to the right here. So that's why we're using this width of 100%. We're using flexbox, and then we can justify the content to the end of that box, which is what we've done. And then we can also just say align items center. And also, let's just give it some margin as well. So I'm just going to say here, margin of, we'll go 1 rem for the top, 0 on the right, 2 rem margin at the bottom, and 0 on the left. That just gives us some nice white space as well. So now let's target the nav. So we'll just say nav, and under here we're going to give this nav a width of, we'll just go for a 450 pix for now. And then we also want to say, again, position relative. Now let's target the nav UL next, and here we can just say display flex, and then we can just say justify content, and we'll go space between, and there you go, there's our kind of nice nav bar created now. So next we want to do here, let's next target our actual links in the nav bar. So I'm just doing a nav, then the along with the list, then the list, then the A, and here we just say opacity of 0.8 just to dim those down a bit. And then so next get our hero text. So I'm just going to come under here, we'll just say hero _ text. And here we'll just say display grid. And then we'll just say grid template columns. I'm just going to do the repeat function here, and we're going to repeat 12 times 1 fraction unit. This will basically just give us 12 equal columns. So you'll see here, if we go to our hero text, grid template columns, repeat, it should appear in 2 brackets. And you can see now with our hero text, you can see we've got that split into 12 columns. Okay, so now let's also just do a margin bottom on this as well, margin bottom of 2 rem. Okay, and then what we want to say here is underneath our hero text, let's just target that pre-header first, or subheading, sorry, I think we give it a class of subheading, didn't we? Yeah, the subheader. So we'll copy this, and we'll just say subheader, and here I'm just going to say grid column span, or grid column rather, and we can just say span 12, so we want it to span all of the grid columns. And then so next thing I want to do with this is just display this with flexbox as well, so we just say display flex. And then we can just say align items center, and also margin bottom of 1 rem, just to give it a bit of white space between that and the main header. Now let's just target that circle next. Remember, in that subheading, well, here you can see there's this kind of, the developers use like put a little circle here, so let's just do that as well. So we can just say dot circle, and here we'll just say width of 0.5 rem, height of 0.5 rem, and then we'll give this a background color. So let's just say background color, and it's like this purple color, so I'm just going to say D6A 3E4, and then let's just see, div class, it should be circle. Wondering why that wasn't appearing, so you can see that's appearing now. And then if we come under here, we'll just say margin right 0.5 rem, just to give it a bit of white space between that and that circle and the text. And then we can just say border radius as well of 50%, just to make it an actual circle. And then finally we'll just give it a bit of margin bottom as well, margin bottom, and here we're just going to say 0.125 rem, and that will just center it to the text. Okay, and then I can just say here subheader, sub_header H4, and we'll just do font weight, make it a bit bolder, so just say bold. Okay, there you go, so that's looking good. Now next thing I want to target here, let's just go for our hero header next, so we just say dot hero header. That's what we said here. We'll give this a class of might have to give this a class of hero header actually. Yeah, let's do that now. So class hero header, and I also want to give this P a class as well of hero intro. So let's just come back here, we'll say hero header, and for the styling I just want to say again, we'll go grid column span here, grid column, we'll just say span 12 again. Okay, so you can see that's now spanning all 12 columns. And then we'll also just say we'll do a margin bottom as well, 1 rem, just give it a bit of white space, and then we'll do the same for the hero intro. Change that to intro, and here I think we'll just we'll span 5, not the full 12, so span 5 columns. See, that's just spanning the 5 grid columns now. And we'll just do a font family here as well, so I'll just say font family, and we'll just say Hafa. Okay, so let's change the font slightly. I'm going to just set the opacity here as well to 0.8. Let's make it a bit dimmer, just so our heading stands out. Okay, so that's looking good. Now the next thing I want to do here, let's just target the bottom div next. So we'll just come under here, we'll say dot bottom div, and here I'm just going to position this relative. We'll say a width of, use the width variable we specified at the top. I'm going to give this a padding top of we'll say 30 pixels, and then also we'll just say a max width as well, to be var max width. So let's just see what we're working with here. We'll say background red. Okay, so here's our bottom div at the moment. So now, and let's just see, that shouldn't be there, I don't know why. We might have to come back into our HTML here. So our bottom div, I think that should be, outside of this div here. That's better. Yeah, that's where our div should be. So make sure that's outside of the just outside, well, next to the container element here. So you have your container and then your bottom div stood directly after that next to it as a sibling. Okay. So that's that part done. Now next thing we want to do, let's just come back in here. So we can just say display flex again. So powerful flex box. And then here we'll just say underneath here we'll target the left div. So you remember in our bottom div we have a left and a right. So that's what these are targeting now. So for our left, we're just going to position this absolute. And we're going to give this a width of 50%, height of 100%, and we're just going to say top 0, left 0. Okay, so you'll see now if we click on this, you can see there's our left div. It's taken up 50% of the bottom div. Okay, so now underneath here, we're next just going to do our curve. So if we just say dot curve, like so, we're going to position this absolute again, and we'll just say a width of 100%, a height of 100%, and here we'll just say background color of, and we're going to use the main div color. Okay, and then if I just take that red off, don't want that. Okay, so you can see obviously that's the same as our div color, and we're going to be using this for the curve section that we saw here. So if we go back to here, you can see we have this kind of nice curved border. So that's what that kind of curved div is doing. And now we just need to cover this with another div. So let's just target the cover. So dot cover. Again, we're going to position this absolute as well. Position absolute. Width 100%. Height 100%. And then if we just do like a background color of blue for now. Blue. Oh, what's going on? There you can see, so that's covering it, and now we just want to do a border top right radius. Okay, so let's just do that. A border top right radius, and we'll use the var border radius. And now you can see we have that curve coming in. So that's why we're using that. And now let's just change this to be the var main background color, and you can see we're getting that kind of curved effect now. Okay, so that's what we're doing there. And then obviously you want to set the cover to be a z-index of 1 just to make sure it's always in front of the curve div, just so that color is always showing. So that's how you get that kind of effect going. Let's just now do the right portion. So we'll just say, come on here and say dot right. And again, we're just going to say position absolute. Okay, so there's a lot of CSS for this kind of stuff, but it looks really good. It's a nice different layout to what you kind of usually see, all these curves, rather than just there being square divs on the screen all the time, which looks pretty boring, to be honest. This is a really nice effect. So let's just go to the right now. We'll just say top 0. We'll say padding of 1 rem as well. And then we'll also just say, we want to go left, obviously, to the 50%, because this div will start at 50%. Now you can see our services has moved over to the right as well. And then here we can just say width of 50%. And then also we'll just say min height of 20 pixels. And what this will do, it will just stop. It will make sure that this curve always looks good. It doesn't, the div won't ever go too small, make this curve look out of place. So that's why I specified a min height there. Specify the background color to be var main div color. Okay, and then we just need to clean up these radiuses now just to make them curvy. So let's do that. So we'll just say border bottom left radius var border radius, and we do the same thing for the bottom right radius. So just say come here, bottom right, and there you go. We have that nice kind of curvy inverted border for that div section. So that's looking good. Now let's just target the services. So say dot services like so. I'm going to give this a padding of 1 rem. Okay, so it gives it a bit of padding there, and then we can just say we'll give it a width of 100%. I'll just say text align center, and then we'll just say background color of var, and we'll just say the main BG color. And you can see, yeah, that's looking good. And then we just need to specify a border radius here. And here we're just going to say, now if we say, for example, var border radius, you'll see it looks kind of weird. It doesn't really go with the these radiuses here. So to make that look better, we can just do a calculate function here. So I just say calc, say var border, and we just need to take away that padding. Okay, so the padding that we use, which was 1 rem. So if we just say -1 rem, and now you can see that's looking, yeah, that's looking a lot better. Okay, so that's pretty much it for that. I guess now let's just work on our carousel. So what I actually want to do here, let's just, first of all, let's just make these items a bit better because they're all so big at the moment. We'll just get our item, and then we'll just say svg, and then dot item png. Let's just write carousel here as well, just so we can see what we're working with. And then here we can just say a width of 60%. Okay, that won't do anything at the moment because it doesn't have anything to reference this 60% to. But if we now we just target our carousel, okay, so say dot carousel like so, and here we'll position this relative, and then we'll say we'll say a width of 100%, and then we'll just say a margin top of 1 rem, and overflow hidden. Now kind of here, next thing we're going to do is get our carousel inner, so we can just say dot carousel inner like so, and then we can just say position absolute, and then what we can do next is we'll say left 0, top 0, actually we don't want to position this absolute, let's position this relative, and we'll just say display flex. Let's just we'll display flex on this, display flex, so that moves the items next to each other. Okay, so we've displayed flex, and then we can just say a width of 200%. Okay, so that will fill out 200% of the container. So the actual, so for the carousel parent, so for the carousel, yeah, it'll fill out 200 times, well, it'll be double that width there basically all the time. And then we can just say, and we'll do the animation later. Now, next thing I want to do here is, let's just grab our items next. So I'll just say dot item, and here I'm going to say, we'll give these a flex of 1, like so, and we'll just say, yeah, justify content, we'll say center, and align items center, like so. And what we can do next is I'm just going to say item image actually. Okay, that's looking better. So that's 60%. You can see now these items, nicely evenly spread out. And then we can just say here, again, I want to display flex. We can say justify content center and align items center as well, just to center our images. Okay, so that's looking good. Now the next thing I want to do here is let's actually just get an animation going now. So let's just say, I'll come here, I'll just say at keyframes, we'll say marquee, like so, and then here we can say 0%, and we'll just say transform, translate, and that will be 0%, or just 0, and then at 100%, we can say transform, translate, X, and we'll just say minus 50%. And this is why we have this kind of carousel at, well, you can see here this carousel at a width of 200 pixels. Okay, and that's why we kind of doubled. So we have two of each. So it will look like it's basically infinite scrolling. So we've got two of each, and this, as we have the two of each and it's spread across 200% of the parent container, it will look like this, constantly scrolling effect. So we can now apply this animation to our carousel inner. So if I just say animation, and then to the carousel inner, we can just say marquee, and then we can just say 10 seconds, linear, infinite. And now you can see we get that nice effect, that constant, it looks like it's, infinite as well. And then the next thing we can do is I just want to apply a fade out effect as well. So let's just do that now. We have these divs here, right and left carousel. So let's just quickly apply the effect to these. So we just say left carousel, and here I'm going to say position absolute. We'll say left 0, top 0, width of 30%, and a height of 100%. And here we're just going to do a background, and here we can say a linear gradient. Okay, and then here we're just going to say we want linear gradient to be 270 degrees. We want it to be transparent, and then we want to just go to the var main div color, and then we also just want to specify the z index of 1 as well. And you can see that just gives it that nice sort of subtle fade out effect there. And then we can do the same thing for the right carousel as well. We'll say right, and here instead of, obviously we want this to be the right instead of left, and then here we can say 90 degrees instead of 270. And there you go, we get that nice kind of subtle fading effect both sides now. So this looks really nice, I think, just this, canvas, and it works on all screens as well, so it looks good. Okay, so that's it for the carousel, and I think we're nearly done. Let's just tidy up this about section, and then we can move to that SVG border. Okay, so if we just go to underneath here, just go to about, and here I'll just say position relative. We'll say a width of 100%. We'll say display flex, and then we'll just say justify content center. Come under here, we'll just target the about container, and here we can just say again position relative, and we'll just say top. I want to go minus 5 rem here, just want to bring this kind of text in this gap here we see. And then we can just say width. So a width of var width, and then also max width of var max width, and then we can just say display grid, and then we can just say again grid template columns, and we're just going to use that repeat function, and we'll just say 12 one fraction unit again. And then what we can do here is we can just say we'll just say dot about text, and we can just say grid column, we'll just say span 5, and then we'll just say a padding left as well of 2 rem. Now what is going on here? That should be more central, I believe. Yep, so we have, where's our about? Okay, so ID. Okay, that should be an ID. Let's just do that. That should be ID about. Okay, so that looks better. So that's pretty much it for our CSS. So now we just need to go back to the HTML and just get this path sorted out. Okay, so you can see, yeah, it's looking fairly similar to this. Obviously it's not, pixel perfect, but I just wanted to kind of show you how to achieve that kind of border effect. Now we just need to go to that image and just get this, this nice curvy image border using that SVG path. So if we come back to our HTML, and let's just go to this D. Remember, if you go to our clip path, then we can draw out our path using this D attribute. D stands for direction. Now this takes in various, so we can do like move to instructions here, we can do line instructions, arc instructions, and that's what we're going to be using when building out this kind of similar path here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is in our D attribute, we're just going to say M for move, and this will move our coordinates to a certain position on the canvas or the SVG. Okay, remember we have these coordinates here, so 100 on the width and 40, on the height as well. So let's just do that now. Actually, one thing I do need to check is just to make sure where we have our image container. So let me just get that quickly. Let's just look, do we have image container on here? Okay, yeah, we need to do that. So let's remember here we have our image container. So yeah, we just need to do some CSS for this. So let me just do a search image. I don't think we did do that. No, okay. So underneath, I think we're best just to go underneath our hero intro here. So we just do, this will be the main SVG image. Okay, so under here, we're just going to say dot image container. And we want to position this relative as well. And then we want to give this a width of 100%. So this will fill 100% of that kind of this black div here, this darker div. And then we can just say we want to give this, I'll do a background red. Okay, well, let's try this then. If I give this a padding top, let's say, yeah, padding top of 40%. We give this a height of 0. Okay, yeah. The reason I want it to be 40% padding, we want to make this 40% padding of the width. So this is 40% of the width, the height. And the reason that we want to do this just so it aligns with our coordinates that we set here. So this 140, that's what we're doing. We're just aligning it to that. And then what I can next do is just say if we target our SVG, say class main hero image, and then if I just target that, we say main hero image, we can position this absolute top 0 left. Okay, so that should work for now. Let me just take this clip path out a second. Okay, that's looking okay. Let's just go with that for now. Yeah, so now we can start doing this effect. Okay, so let's reinstate this. Let's remove that background color. Right, now, so what we can do here, let's just go back to our D. So we're going to move to some coordinates now on the canvas axis. So on the x-axis, we're going to move to 7%. And then on the y-axis, so vertically, we're going to move to 5%. Or 5% of 40 anyway. And then what we can do after that, we'll come down and now next going to specify a line. So capital L for line. And we want to move to 85% on the x-axis and 5% on the y-axis. Okay, so you can't see anything yet, but you should see something shortly. We're next going to do an arc. Okay, so we can use arc, for A for arc. And then the first two arguments are the x and y radius sizes for our arc. So we're just going to do some percentage. So we say 2.5% for the x radius and 2.5% for the y radius. The next three arguments specify if it's clockwise or counterclockwise for the arc. We're going to go clockwise, okay? So, yeah, we're just going to specify here 0, 0, 0 for clockwise. And then we're just going to say, so we want this to go, as this is obviously a 2.5% radius, we need this to go to, on the x-axis, we need to add 2.5 to this 85. So we can say 87.5, and then we can just say we want to go to 2.5. And sorry, this is anti-clockwise, 0, 0, 0. And now you can see, so we've moved to 7 and 5, and then we have this line going to 85 and on the x-axis and 5 on the y-axis. And then we're doing an anti-clockwise arc to 87.5 and then 2.5 on the SVG path, okay? And now I want to do another arc here. Again, we're going to use the same radius for this arc. It's 2.5, and this time we need to go, so we've curved to the left, which is anti-clockwise, and now we need to do a right curve. So here we're just going to say 0, 0, 1 for clockwise. And here we can just again say, well, we need to go to 90 this time, because 87.5 plus 2.5 is 90. And then we need to say 0, because 2.5 minus 2.5 is 0. Okay, and then we have that, you see that curve there appear. And now we want to do, let's just do a line here, and we want to go to 97.5, and then on the x-axis and 0 on the y-axis. And then we're going to come out of this and we're going to do another arc, so 2.5, 2.5, and then we're going to go clockwise, so 0, 0, 1, and then we can just go to, obviously, so 97.5 plus 2.5, because we're going to the right, is 100, and then we can just go to, 90 we want to go to 25 now. No. 2.5, sorry. Let me just note that doesn't look right to me. So we want to go to 100 here, and then so we've got a 2.5 radius. And then 2.5. Okay, we'll go with that for now. And then we can just say here we want to go align to 100, so on the x-axis, and then 25. And that curve is not looking good to me, so why is that doing that? Let's just have a look. 2.5. 97.5. Okay, we'll keep going. I'll try and tie that up in a second because that will annoy me. That curve doesn't look too good to me. Maybe if we just go to 5. 95.0, and then if we just do 97.5, and then we change this to 97.5. Okay, that's looking better. Yeah, let's just one thing I do need to do actually here is we need to say in our image, so we've got our clip path, we just need to add some additional attributes. So let's just say preserve aspect ratio, and that's going to equal, so on the x-axis we want it to be middle, and on the y we want it to be mid as well, and then we can say slice. Okay, let's just try that one more time because that was bugging me before. So if we just go to 97.5 here, and then if I make this 100, to 97.5. Preserve, that should be aspect ratio. Okay, yeah, that's better. Right, that's working now. Apologies for that. Yeah, you have to use this preserve aspect ratio, and that will just fill the width, the image of the width, the image to the width of the container. So you have to use that preserve aspect ratio, similar to object fit cover in CSS. Okay, so now we've done this line to 100 on the x-axis to 25 on the y-axis. Let's come underneath this. And let's just do, where are we? So this took a lot of trial and error really. So again, you know, just you do whatever kind of path you want, but I'm just going to I'll try to copy this path as much as I can. So now we want to do an arc. And here we're just going to say again 2.5, 2.5. And want to go clockwise this time to 001, and then we'll just say 77.5. Sorry, just trying to think. It should be 97.5, 97.5, and then 27.5. So basically, you're just kind of subtracting if you're going, subtracting or adding 2.5 to each of these numbers here. And then underneath this, let's just do another line. So we do another line to 80 and 27.5. And next thing we want to do, let's just do another arc. So 2.5, 2.5, and then we can say 0, 0, 0 for anti-clockwise this time because we want to go to the left. And then we can just say 75. Oh no, it wants to do 77.5, sorry. So 77.5. And then we'll say 37.5. Or just 30. Yeah, 30. There you go. And then we want to do a line to 77.5 and 35. Like so. And then we can say an arc, again 2.5, 2.5. And then we can say want to go to the left, so we'll do a clockwise, and then we can just say 75 and 37.5. There you go, and then we just do a line next to 10 on the x-axis, so a line to 10. And then 37.5 on the y-axis, like so. And then we can just do an arc. Again, all of my arcs are 2.5. And then we can just say 0, 0, 1 for clockwise. So we'll make it go to the right. And then we'll just say 7.5 and 35. Okay, like so, and then we can just do a line to 7.5 and 20. 7.5 on the x-axis and 20. And then we'll do another arc here. It's 2.5, 2.5, 0, 0, 0 to go anti-clockwise to the left. And then we'll say 5 and 17.5, and then we'll just do another arc. Oh no, we do a line actually to 2.5 and 17.5. Nearly there, guys. And then we can just do another arc after this. So we say arc, and then 2.5, 2.5 for the radius, 0, 0, 1 to go clockwise and to the right. And then we'll just say to 0, because 2.5 minus 2.5 is 0. And then as we're going up, we'll say 17.5 minus 2.5 is 15. There you go. And then we'll just do a line to 0 and 7.5. And then finally, we'll just do a curve. So we'll say a 2.5, 2.5, 0, 0, 1 to go right clockwise, and then we want to go to 2.5 and 5. And there you go, there's our image. And this looks good whenever you spread out the page, really. So that's, you can see it grows to a nice level. Okay, I'm going to stop there, guys, because this is getting a bit long now, this tutorial. But yeah, you can see, it's fairly similar to this web page here, this really nice site that I found on Awards. Yeah, that's how they've kind of got this nice inverted border on their images. Yeah, obviously it looks really confusing. When I first kind of inspected this using the dev tools, it looked like really complicated, but once you play around with these different features for these clip paths, the main ones you really want to know for this effect are just the move to, the line and the arcs. Okay, and then once you've got your correct coordinates applied, and just remember to use that preserve aspect ratio, you should be able to get this nice kind of effect going. So yeah, I'll leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.